What music is that I hear?
Something to try and make you feel at home.
Hello, this is Job, and this is my first journal with me. I guess I'm just gonna walk you through what's happening on the screen. So, first, I have a piece or a page from a Korean to English dictionary, and I got it at a vintage store here in Korea, and I don't really mind ripping it up. So, I like to use that as a background for my dates. So, I just put that on the left hand corner on the left page, and I'm just trying to find the date. And I have this calendar, I guess it's like a calendar booklet where you can rip off the pages. So I ripped off the date for that day that I was working on. It's a September 4th, nope, October 4th. And now I'm just putting some more scrap paper at the back. I think this is a piece of classic-key translucent paper. I don't really know the technical name. Links will be in the description bar though. So now I'm just using a lot of tape. I'm using a tape runner from Daiso, and it's quite cheap here in Korea. I like to use a tape runner more than glue because it actually keeps everything down pretty securely rather than glue, because sometimes the glue doesn't dry correctly, or I don't know, maybe I just have really bad glue, but it always ends up peeling off. So anyways, I'm using my first clear stamp set ever. This is from Recollections, and my family sent this over from Canada actually, so that's really nice of them. I think it's an early Christmas present, even though it's only October. Anyways, so I'm just preparing that stamp set since I've heard that you're supposed to use a rubber eraser to prep stamps so you can actually get more ink on them. I don't know if that's true, but I just tried it out anyways, and it turned out pretty okay. But the Y turned out a little bit wonky. I think there was just too much ink on it. So now I'm just cleaning my stamps with a wet wipe, and I like to do that every time or else your stamps get very dirty and nasty very quickly. So now I'm just covering up that little mark that I left on that side of the page from the ink, and I'm just putting more washi to cover it up. And the two washes that I'm using are from Camel Garden or Shamel Garden and Classicy. Now I'm taking my name stamp, which is actually my name in Korean, and I just stamped that down with an orange ink. You can see I'm really messy when I work on my spreads because I just like to put things down on the page, and now there's a little orange mark on the right hand side of the spread, but oh well. So now I took out more stamps. This is from a Cavallini stamp set, and I just put that down near the date. So now the date is finished. I'm taking out some of my Shinhan watercolors, and I'm just reactivating some of the dried paints that I have there. So this is just a very pale pink. I also went in with some orange, and I put that at the bottom of the page, and I think I'm just doing that just to add some more dimension to the page. And I like to keep it on the lighter side so I can still write on top of the watercolors. So now I'm just playing around with more colors. I think I want to introduce some yellow into that, so I'm just blending it with the orange and the pink. So I guess there's a theme to this spread. It's kind of like a orangey brownish tone theme going on. I don't know. But anyways, you can see I'm just trying to decide what to do next. Just taking off the clip since I'm going to be working on the right hand side of the spread now. So I took out my folder of vintage papers and ephemera, and I'm just sorting through and trying to choose some sort of paper I can use as my background for the date. So I actually used this vintage document that I got in Japan, and I actually don't know what it means or if it's super important, but I just cut it up. I think I only spent like 50 cents on it, so I don't really feel too bad ripping it up, and I'm just using some more scraps. This is from a craft paper post-it. After a quick sip of coffee, I continued on working on the spread. So now I'm just taping that craft piece of paper onto the right hand corner of the spread, and basically I like to mirror what's happening on the left hand side of the spread. So you can see there's similar colors on both pages, so I guess I'm going for a very vintage brown and orange theme. And now I am just gluing slash taping that on, you can actually see there's some orange in that vintage document, so it actually mirrors that stamp, my name stamp on the left hand side of the spread. So now I'm taking a post-it. Actually, this is a concrete print post-it. I don't think you can see it very well on camera, but it's actually a print of what cement looks like. It's super cool, and there's a lot of novelty post-its here in Korea. So now I'm trying to find some sort of sticker or ephemera, and I think I settled on this airmail stamp that I had lying around. And now I'm going back in with the tape runner as usual, and I'm just gluing slash taping that post-it down, and I ripped it up a bit so it doesn't look too perfect, and I went with that sticker and put it on top of the post-it. Now I took out my aquash pen filled with black Sumi ink, and I'm probably just gonna go in with the date. When I recorded this, it was Wednesday, October 5th, and since I didn't journal on Tuesday, October 4th, I decided to make this spread that covered 2 days. So now I'm just scripting out the date, and my concentration levels were very real and intense if you were there in person. So it turned out alright, thank goodness. Usually it turns out pretty wonky because I get really nervous when I'm writing down dates for some reason with that brush pen. But now I'm going in with the stamp set again, and I wanted to put 5th in those stamped letters instead of my brush lettering script. So I'm just checking if the position is correct, and then I'm gonna mount it onto my acrylic block. And I think I went with orange. No, I went with red ink this time to complement the red in that airmail sticker. After cleaning off that stamp, I took out my Shinhan watercolors again, and I went in with a red-orange color, and I put that on the left side of that page, and I left it a lot brighter than the colors on the left side of the spread. And after putting down the watercolor, I think I just took out some washi tape, and I'm putting it over top of the left hand side of the spread, but it goes past the left page and onto the right page, which I really don't mind. And you can watch me struggle as I put that washi tape in a straight line. Anyways, after I took out some ephemera that I had, since I received some airmail that day, so this is the day that I actually received the stamp set from my family, and I'm just taking that FedEx sticker and this tag from a shirt that they got me, and I'm just trying to figure out a placement that works well with the right side of the spread, and I opted to just go with that FedEx stamp instead. And now I'm trying to cover up that orange spot from the ink that I guess fell or stained the right side of the spread from when I was stamping my Korean name stamp, and I just wrote Happy Mail on that brown label sticker, but I didn't like it with the gold pen or gold ink, so I'm trying to figure out ways to cover it up. So I think I ended up just putting the FedEx sticker down first, and later I'm gonna go back with another label sticker and I'm gonna put it over top of the FedEx sticker, if that makes sense. So I'm basically just covering it up with an identical sticker, and I don't really like how it looked because it covered up too much of the FedEx tag, but oh well. So now I went in with a white pen this time. This is a Uniball Signo pen, and it's my favorite white pen. So after writing down Happy Mail, I went back with my paints and I went to the left hand side of the spread, and I'm just painting some vines or leaves, and I thought that this would just finally tie in that spread and make it look a little bit more polished. So I'm just taking the same colors that I used all throughout the spread, so the same reddish, orangey, brown tones, and just put a little vine. And then now I'm going in with a blue, since there's blue on the FedEx tag and blue on the airmail sticker. So I'm trying to add some blue vines and leaves to that right hand side of the spread just to tie in that blue color to the rest of the spread. At this point, I'm pretty much done with the spread. I'm just adding the finishing touches to that vine. And now I'm just checking if there's anything else I could add to the spread. I thought about putting more stamps on the left-hand side of the spread, and I'm just going through my stamps, seeing if there's anything appropriate, but I didn't really find anything that I liked. So I just went with that small airmail stamp, and I'm putting it on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. And you can see that I stamped it pretty sloppily, like there's red everywhere on top of that stamp, but oh well. Now I'm just cleaning up, and I took out my sealing wax. So instead of putting a stamp on the left hand side, I went with a wax seal instead. So I took out my lighter and I'm just burning or melting the wax near the date, and I'm trying to keep it centered, but I do a pretty bad job of putting the wax down. But it doesn't really matter, since once you put the seal over top, it turns out nice regardless if it's a little lopsided. After blowing out the fire, I just waited a few moments and then I put the seal stamp over top the hot wax, and it turns out pretty great if you wait a few seconds. Yeah, so it looks pretty good, and I'm almost done the spread. I'm just gonna write down or put in the journaling now since everything is dry, and I'm gonna do this off camera, but overall the spread is finished, so this is what it looks like. Thanks for sticking around this long. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a great time listening to this voiceover. I know I'm not the most eloquent or descriptive, but hopefully this helps you and inspires you to journal more. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!